Alright, heads up, this is going to be a bit of a different style of review. This time around I'm reviewing a movie. The thing is, with this particular movie, you can see all the biggest flaws within it in the literal first 3 minutes. The last 2 reviews I did, I had issues with a single aspect, and had to get up to that bit before I spoke about it. But this one? I've seen bad movies before. The Room, Tammy and the T-Rex, The Black Cauldron, Final Fantasy. This... okay, it's not as bad, but sweet lord would I rather watch those movies. Except maybe for Final Fantasy. That one was terrible. Anyway, I'm reviewing Aladdin. Greetings. I'm the Entity of Darkness, and if you're in the comments, I don't think you read the title. While I'm not big on the Disney version, I'm not going to review that one yet. This time, I'm going to look at the Golden Films crap that came out around the same time. However, in the spirit of fairness, I won't compare this to the Disney version at all. Not even in points where it's obvious. So what are we waiting for? This film begins with...
I'll tell you the story of a Persian boy who had a...
Turn it off! Turn it off!
Fell in love.
A song. This movie opens sporadically with a song. It's strange because this movie isn't a musical. This is the only song in the entire movie, plus a reprise at the end. This may not be a big deal to some, but it really does make me wonder why they went to the effort of having a song at the opening when an instrumental score would suffice. It's not even a good song either, with meh singing and lyrics that,
Rub the lamp, Aladdin, rub the lamp and see.
In this opening shot, we also see one of the biggest problems with the movie. The animation. The animation is filled with problems, like the lip syncing.
You leave me stuck inside this lamp for 4 years, and all of a sudden you expect...
Save your dishwater for the sick you pretend to heal.
Sure, you want to make fun of my healing powers, hmm? At present, she is being held in Aladdin's palace in Marrakesh.
That doesn't work. Mother always said, when there seems to be no hope, you can always reach within yourself and find an answer.
Other problems with the animation include design, and not just character design. I'll get to that later. Take a look at this large stone here. It looks like something out of a Zelda cartoon, something you could push or pull to solve a puzzle. It does not look like the entrance to a secret cave. And even if one could make that connection, it does not look like something 2 scrawny bean poles could lift. Of course, there are other animation errors that just happen, like this jittering merchant, a head-banging deer, a kid that randomly disappears, and a pile of mud that appears right the f*** out of nowhere. And then we get to the biggest problem with the animation, the character design. I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but most of the characters in this movie are white. I'm not one to say that a movie is racist because it stars a white person. If I want a movie that has a majority Asian cast, I'll watch a movie like Ringu or War of the Arrows. However, this is an animated movie. And the thing with animation is that it isn't bound by the limitations of reality. You could set this story on the moon with characters the color green if you wanted. Hell, if you didn't want to color your characters, you could have set this movie in Europe or America. Some people made the conscious choice to set this movie in Arabic lands, have everyone dress in Arabic garb, and have them all be white. It wouldn't bother me if it was the background characters we weren't focusing on, but no, even Aladdin and the goddamn Sultan are white. And then there is... the genie.
Why doesn't he like me? Oh, maybe it's my breath. I know I bathed this morning. It's got to be my personality.
Alright, I know what I said at the beginning of this review, but I feel like I desperately need to bring up the comparison. In the Disney version, while it is not accurate to the original story, the genie was full of life. Aside from that, the writers actually took care into making the genie seem more like a friend to Aladdin than a servant. In this movie, the genie talks about how he wants to please Master, and it gets a little bit uncomfortable. It would be one thing that the designs are pretty racist, but the voices are also pretty bad. And I'm not talking about the voice acting. The actors do an alright job. I'm talking about the actors' voices.
Pleasant day, is it not?
Boy, I am neither noble nor is the day pleasant.
Ah, but you can live as a nobleman might, and then your day would surely be pleasant.
What are you talking about?
Well,
Sit, Hasim, sit. You must be very weary after your long journey from Africa.
Wisest of the great, oh kindest of the kind, oh wisest of the wise, oh...
Oh, be still, Ali. My daughter comes to bathe, not to listen to your babble.
Oh, of course, oh, glorious one. She comes for bubbles, not babble.
I think this guy has the oddest voice, though.
Oh man, all these poor people getting favors from the Sultan, and you can't even convince him to let me marry his daughter. Sometimes I wonder what good it is being the vizier's son.
It's actually a good example of how little they actually cared when making this movie. They just told the voice actor to do Gary Oak and then just put him in the movie. Although, of all the problems with this movie, the one that really gets me is the story. Now, Aladdin is an old story, so you can take liberties with it. If I'm not mistaken, the original story was actually set in China and not in Arabia. My issue is not loyalty to the story. This isn't an adaptation of a book I really enjoy. This is an adaptation of an old fairy tale. No, my issue with the story is that there are times it makes no sense. Going back to the mocking scene, these characters are mocking Aladdin for, I guess, wanting to live in a palace. The thing is, they did not establish the fact that Aladdin wanted to live like a noble. I mean, there is a talk in the bazaar where he says someone could live like a noble if he's willing to pay Aladdin, but this only establishes that Aladdin is desperate for work. Then you get the villain, who is pathetic. However, there is a scene where he is talking to Aladdin and his mother, claiming to be the brother of Aladdin's father. Question: did Aladdin's father ever talk about a brother to his wife? You know, just a brief exchange of dialogue would make things so much better. He never spoke about a brother. We didn't have the best relationship. I was hoping I could reconnect with him after all these years. You see? And I'm barely a scriptwriter. The movie has a problem with establishing things, not just in the story. There is also the villain's instructions for taking the lamp.
You will find a lamp on the wall of the garden. Pour out the oil, bring that lamp to me, and we shall both become rich as sultans.
He said to empty out the oil. And when Aladdin gets the lamp, not only does he not empty out the oil, they don't establish that it has oil anyway. Did they forget to write that part in? Then you get things like this.
Pansy!
Everything in this movie is about as well established as the history of Katsudo Shashin. Then there are the characters. Aladdin is not terrible. I wouldn't say he's a really strong character, but he is passable, even at his less favorable moments.
It's not creepy.
The princess in this movie, Layla, without the assorted love songs, is bland. They don't really offer her a lot of character outside of being generally intrigued by most things. But the worst of the movie has to be the villain Hasim. This is, without a doubt, the most pathetic villain I've ever seen. And keep in mind, I watched the My Little Pony movie and the Black Cauldron. At least the Storm King had a plan, and the Horned King at least had a cool design. Hasim is just lame. I mean, he throws a fit when Aladdin doesn't come back with the lamp. He performs an evil laugh in his sleep, and I kid you not, this is how he dies. Like, sweet hell, dude. Even the Horned King went out like more of a badass.
Pansy!
Everything in this movie is some kind of an enigma. You just have to wonder, how little did they actually care when making this movie? Even disregarding the animation and all of its numerous flaws, very little of this movie is of any remotely good quality. Actually, I take that back. There is one thing I do like about this movie.
You do not understand. All things have an ultimate master, even a genie. And the rock is mine. To steal its egg would mean certain death for us all.
I like the idea that even an all-powerful genie has some rules to follow. I don't know if this idea is part of the genie lore, but I do kind of like it. Aside from that, everything else is bad. The animation is flawed, the voices are annoying, the story establishes few things, the villain sucks, and the movie is just a little bit racist. While this isn't the worst Golden Films knockoff I've seen, it's still really bad. No, I won't be reviewing that one next. I have other things I want to do. Till then, I'm the Entity of Darkness. Fare thee well.